Hey guys, what is up? It's your girl, Grace Torie, and I am back with a whole new podcast episode. Today we are talking about some crazy Karens and whether they are the a-hole or whether they are justified in their Karenness. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, follow, all the fun things. It takes about 0.2 seconds, super quick and easy, and it means the absolute world. We are so close to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, and that would be so cool to hit. So if you're watching on YouTube, maybe consider giving us a little subscribe if you like these types of videos. So yeah, without further ado, now we're gonna jump on in. I'm Grace Torie, and you're listening to That Girl the Podcast. Grab a beverage of choice and settle in, because the new episode is starting now. Am I the a-hole for telling a woman to knock it off after she had been screeching all night during a Post Malone concert? I feel like this could go either way based off of the title, because I get the whole side of like women screeching and like you paid money, but also it's a concert, so it depends on what you mean by screeching. Okay, we're gonna jump on in. Attending Post Malone's big ass tour concert at T-Mobile Arena in Seattle last night. Woman behind us thought she needed to stand and sing along to every song. Problem was, she is tone deaf and can't sing a lick. She was basically screaming and yelling during every song. She did seem to know the words to all the songs, so I gave her credit for that. I'm sure she's a top-notch shower singer, but tonight was definitely not her night. It was extremely painful, and she was ruining the experience for all within shouting distance. I finally turned around and explained to her that while I appreciated her enthusiastic effort to sing along, I actually paid to listen to Jelly Roll and Posty sing, not her. Ugh, you know what? It's giving the same energy of when you were in middle school and like you would sing a song and then one of the boys would be like, hey, who sings that song? And you'd be like, oh, Taylor Swift. And they'd be like, oh, let's keep it that way. And they thought it was the most like original thing ever. Ugh, that's the energy it's giving. Not that she should be screaming at a concert. I get it, but also, ew. Maybe she could just sing along in her head. Well, as you can imagine, she didn't appreciate my constructive criticism and proceeded to lose her damn mind. I was informed that she had spent over $500 on her tickets, was a single mother of 3, and deserved to do whatever she wanted because tonight was her night. So I dropped the hammer and told her that she was 100% tone deaf, her voice was awful, and she needed to accept the fact that she just can't sing. Okay, that's a little mean. While yelling the words in a monotone voice might be exhilarating and empowering, it was pure torture for the rest of us. I suggested that I really didn't want to ruin her fun, yet she needs to be considerate of others. Maybe bring a muzzle next time? Okay, that's taking it a little bit far. She could still enjoy the thrilling rush of belting out every single word for word and save her neighbors the unrelenting agony. Excuse me. I know concerts are supposed to be a time to let your hair down and get a little rowdy, but this was just too much. I don't know. Was I being a Karen even though I'm a dude? Should I have just kept my mouth shut and endured in silence? Give me the truth. This is one of those things where it really is like a case-by-case basis, and it's hard because everyone paid money to be there, and especially in today's economy, concert tickets aren't cheap, and you want to be able to sing along with the artist. This may be a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, but it's also the fact of, like, you're not the only one there, and you need to be considerate of others. I'm in both camps because I love being able to sing along, especially to someone like Sabrina or Taylor, where like their songs are applicable to your personal life. So I get the emotional aspect of being like, yes, but it's also a Posty concert. He does have some deep music, but I feel like the point of this tour was like to grab a beer, let your hair down, like maybe drink a little. I don't know. It was a good time tour. Like it was something you go to have a good time and vibe out. And I feel like if that's her version of having a good time, she does have the right to do that, but also they have the right to tell her to be quiet because it's their money too. Like, she is not above them and they're not above her. So I think that everyone just needs to find a way to coexist. Like, can she still sing without belting? Yes. Can they enjoy the concert that way? I would hope so. There's some sort of compassion that needs to be had between the two. Like, quieting down and not being quite as loud is probably the solution. Or you could always get a suite if you're the type of person who wants to belt things out. I get that that's not in everybody's budget, but it's like if you want to be inconsiderate of others, then get a suite. So I think everyone's the a-hole. He definitely could have said things differently and not told her she's a horrible singer and tone deaf and needs to be muzzled. And she could have been more considerate of him. So yeah, I think that concerts are very much give or take. You need to find the happy medium. Read the room. Like, if everybody's drunk and belting out lyrics, cool. But if it's not that situation and you're the only one and you're ruining everybody else's time, like, maybe don't sing quite as loud. So yeah, I think everybody sucks, and that was the general consensus, but I would love to hear your thoughts down below. I think that this is something that could definitely go either way. And we didn't hear much about what she said when she went off on him. We only heard what he said to her. Either way, I think everybody sucks. Am I the a-hole for not apologizing to my leader after I made her cry? Am I the a-hole for making my group leader cry and not apologizing when she started it first? So I'm Lily, 15. Yeah, I feel like that's clear by saying when she started it first. She started it. Yeah, okay. Context is amazing. I have a group play and I'm a great actor. Everyone knows I love acting. Bestie, I love singing, but I'm not very good at it. So that doesn't hold a ton of weight. I hope you're good at it, but I'm just saying, going into this with that mindset of you could love it and not be great at it. One day our teacher announced a group acting and I was so excited because I was paired up with some of my friends. We were 9 in total. One of my friends got police. There were 2 police. 2 people walking, 1 robber, and 1 that gets stolen from. The acting is about a robber stealing a girl's necklace and 2 bystanders will help him report to the police. It's supposed to be done in 1 day. I got a background character. It was okay because one of my friends also got a background character. Me and her, let's call her E, are Karens. That's our role. We both are okay, but when the script was made, me and her didn't get any monologue, and it was confusing because the other groups, everyone got a monologue in. Your grammar is a little stressful, but you are 15, so I'm trying to let it slide, but if this doesn't make sense, it's a little hard to read. I stayed quiet because I didn't want to make a scene. Soon in practice, I wanted to leave already because I didn't have a monologue anyways, but they didn't let me, so I stayed. I need to know, is this like drama class at school, or is this like acting class that you do outside of school? Also, everyone is probably going to have to be a background character at some point. That's usually how it works. Like, not everybody can have a monologue. So you still have to be a participant. Like, you still have to be a part of it. That's just how it works. My mother watched me and the others practice, and my classmates were laughing, giggling, not taking it seriously, so we had to retry over and over again. Okay, so again, why was your mom there? If it was like an acting class, I can understand, because when I was 15, my mom would watch me like do my extracurricular, whether it was like piano or horse riding or karate, like my mom was there. But also, when you hit 15, like, it's like either way. But if you're in school, like this is like school acting class, I don't understand why your mom's there. She doesn't need to be there. Okay. And also, yeah, again, like, is this something where you're being graded, or is this something where everybody's goofing off and they're acting their age and having fun with it? Because if it's meant to be something done in 1 day, I understand being like, I'm going to be a star one day and I need to take this seriously, but it may not be that serious, in fact. And saying, like, no one's taking it seriously kind of makes you sound like a Karen. You're taking your role a little too seriously. My mom was angry because she wanted our play to turn out okay, but the others are dismissive. My mom called our play boring and unserious. Now, why is your mom getting involved? We left soon after. Okay, so your mom, sounds like your mom threw a little bit of a fit and said, this is not professional. This is a very unprofessional, and you left. I can't say that for sure, but I'm getting context clues. My mom got a call from our play leader's mom. Call my play leader G. G cried to her mom because mine called the play boring and unserious, and that apparently made her feelings hurt. Yeah, because you all are 15. That would hurt my feelings if I was the leader and an adult told me my play was boring and unserious and I had put time into it. And like, I don't know, you take criticism seriously when you're 15. Like, and this isn't constructive criticism. This is a mother who's putting her nose in the business that it doesn't sound like she has any authority over. My mom didn't call her acting boring. It was everyone's acting because they were just joking around and not taking it seriously. This is how I imagine her saying it. My mom was also angry that I didn't even have a monologue. Like, what will be my grade at that point? Okay, so you are being graded. But again, someone has to be the background character. Not everybody can be main. And like, do you have parts? Like, do you have speaking parts? Or no? Because a monologue is quite a bit. Like, not everyone gets a monologue. I was in plays and didn't get them. And it's just, it is what it is. Not everyone can be the main character. G said that my voice is low and I was bad at acting when everyone knew I loved acting. But again, loving doesn't mean you're good at it. My mom was just angry because G didn't give me and E a monologue, so our grades will surely be low. Do we know that for sure? I need more context. G complained that I was ugly and not fit to get a monologue. Okay, this is just getting ridiculous. That hurt my feelings because I knew I was a little chubby, but I liked acting, and hearing that makes me not want to pursue that anymore. Little chubby does not equal ugly, first off. Second off, hearing another 15-year-old say that you were not fit to get a monologue makes you want to quit. Girl, we need to get a little bit more grit in you. You're going to hear worse than that if you want to be an actor. I told her that she was the one bad at acting and that she shouldn't be the leader because it's ignorance if she didn't give me and E a monologue. Her and me are both a little chubby. I just feel like you're taking it seriously. Like a little too seriously. She cried to her mom and other friends, and they think I should apologize when she was at fault first. Actually, you were at fault first because you started it when your mom put her nose where it doesn't belong. My friends are angry, even E. I don't know what to do. Everyone is against me because G is our president in school and they don't like me disrespecting, making her cry when she was the one who hurt my feelings first. I didn't want to apologize. Again, your mom hurt her feelings first. You were doing something, like her giving you a background part, I don't feel like was meant to be malicious. I don't know anybody personally, but again, everybody can't get main character. And I think that it's a little too deep. Everybody is saying that she's the a-hole, not just for how badly this was written, which I'm trying to give grace because she's 15, but because she is totally full of herself and has an a-hole mother that is feeding her ego. Someone said, just because you love acting doesn't mean you're good at it. That's what I'm saying. Like, when I was little, I wanted to be Hannah Montana so bad, and that dream was quickly cut when I didn't even get a singing role in the church play. Okay? It is what it is. You have talents. They may not be what you want them to be, but somewhere you'll find one you love and one that works. Not saying that you can't act. Maybe you can. But either way, this is not the way to get it. Being rude and, like, disrespectful and starting fights and your mom getting involved when you don't get a main monologue is not how you're going to break out in the acting scene, bestie. So, yeah, I think that her reaction was coming, I don't want to judge this girl, but I think that she's coming from a place of hurt, and maybe she shouldn't have said those things, but I think that your mom and you are the a-holes. Am I the a-hole for yelling at a couple because of their kids at the airport? Last year, I, 16 male, went backpacking across Europe with my mom, 44 female, for 3 weeks. We hit a few countries and it was a lot of fun, but towards the end of our trip, we got sick. I barely had a rash, but my mom was hit badly with headaches, fever, nausea, and patches of puffy red rashes and inflammation on her neck. That is not good. We were a day from our return flight and our medical options in Rome weren't great, so we decided she'd see a doctor first thing when we got back. I don't like that. Here's why I don't like that. Because you could be infectious. You could hurt other people. You don't know what's wrong. Also, it sounds like it was progressing rather quickly, and I don't think that it's fair for you to say your medical options weren't great when that's just not true on an objective thing. Did you guys watch? I'm a big Brittany Broski fan. Love her. Bestie. Love that queen. And she recently was in Rome, and her spleen needed to be removed. So she didn't want to get medical care, but she got to the point where she had to. They ended up removing her spleen, and she has nothing but great things to say about the medical care there. I'm not saying that she doesn't have, like, the funds to pay for that. Of course she does. But I also know that their healthcare system is very different than the US, and I don't think that she did the private option. I think I remember her saying she went public. It was a little while ago now. But if you need help, you need help. Like, you have to go. It's either you die or you go. And I don't think that going on a small airplane with everybody else is a way to resolve that. Like, emergencies are emergencies. This is why we have rainy day funds. We prepare for this. And I know that in a perfect world, yes, you have everyday funds. Everything's free. But I just don't think that flying and putting a whole flight at risk is a good option. I think that you should have money saved up for situations like this. And again, like, I'm pretty sure Rome has free healthcare. Am I wrong? I think they do. Correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe I'm just stupid. But I think they do. And getting yourself checked out, they can tell you whether or not you are good to go. Like, just getting a quick visit. Like, a quick visit. You don't have to go to the ER and spend thousands of dollars. Just go to, like, an urgent care or something lower on the scale, if those exist. Again, not familiar with the healthcare, but there's things you can do, you know? Oh, so, okay, you are flying. She was extremely exhausted after such a long trip, and worsening so by the time we got off our 16-hour flight back to Cali. She was practically a zombie. Okay, so you're going back to California. Yeah. I know that people in the United States like to look down on other healthcare as if, like, it's not as good because it's free. And whether that's the case or not, like, I think it does. It's very dependent on the country. I think that we're very quick to judge a book by its cover and say, oh, it's, you know, not great. When Rome actually, yeah, like I said, has great healthcare. And I wonder if that was the case where it was like, well, it's not as good as the US, or, you know. Anyway, we were waiting in the line at customs for American citizens, and right behind us was a couple with 2 kids. It was a long line, so we were stuck with them for at least 20 minutes, and their kids were going wild. Also, a 16-hour flight when you're sick, that's a long time that you can infect other people. Okay, the 2 boys looked to be around 4 and 7. They were screaming and running in and out of line, bumping into people and stepping over feet. That's not okay. Their parents definitely should not let them do that. The parents were unbothered and speaking casually with each other in Italian. This was really upsetting my mom as they ran into us the most, and their screaming only exacerbated her headache. Yeah, that's not okay. They have been cooped up on a 16-hour flight, so I get that they're probably high energy, but also that's something that you can prepare for and bring things to keep them busy, and letting them run around is just, like, disrespectful and not a good solution. Now, I'm not very confrontational, unlike my mother. I would rather bite my tongue, but seeing as she couldn't say much, it really bothered me. I kept telling myself I'd say something after one more time, and eventually I boiled over. I whipped around, looked them dead in the eyes, and said, "You speak English, right? Keep your kids in line." I didn't yell, but I was loud and firm. The mom just looked shocked, picked up her kids, and that was the end of it. So, I get this. I don't think that that was the best way to handle it. Tensions are high, though, so I can kind of understand it. I'm the same way. I'm not very good with confrontation. I try and stay out of it, but the second it comes to my mom, yeah, the claws come out. So I totally understand that, but also there's a way to say things and saying, hey, maybe can you grab your kids? Like, it's been a long flight. Everybody's tired. Tensions are high. You know, I really don't want them to end up in a situation or something. Like, there's a way to say it that's nicer than get your kids in line and having a firm tone that could border on yelling. My mom tried to say stop right beforehand, but didn't say much after. It wasn't until I told this story to my coworkers back at work that my boss said I sounded like a Karen and overreacted. I wonder if you didn't tell us the full reaction, because to me, it could be a lot worse. Like, I would deem you a soft Karen. I wouldn't say that you're like a full Karen, but maybe you're not giving us the full story. I think I held it together remarkably well, but what do you think? For a little more context, we later found out my mom had a staph infection and almost went septic. Plus, she has multiple pre-existing conditions like cluster headaches, hyperthyroidism, her thyroid was removed, and sleep apnea. I forgot that she also had brain lesions from microstrokes and heart problems, so she's very sick. Edit. I can't deny flying sick was not very considerate, but we did not have the funds to continue to stay abroad for the duration medical treatment would take, and we had to go back to our pets. Again, that's something that you just have to consider. I know that in a perfect world, but like if you're going to Europe, you have additional funds in some way. You're able to save up money, and you should just save up a little bit of extra money in the event that something like this happens. That's what an emergency fund is for. Whether your emergency fund is for getting sick in the US or getting sick in Rome, you should have an emergency fund for if you get sick. Also, I want to mention that I did want her to see a doctor, but she said otherwise, and it was out of my hands. She is stubborn and literally almost died from another infection because she didn't want me to miss my first ever day of work. I understand this. My mom also is very much doesn't want to see a doctor, but that's when you have to take matters into your own hands. You have to say you're going to see a doctor. Like, yes, they're a grown adult, but as their kid, you know that they are prone to say that. You know that they are prone to be on death's bed. Like, my mom has probably almost died like 5 times. The amount of times that they have told her, hey, if you would have waited another hour, you wouldn't be alive right now, is very unsettling. Keeps me up at night. And just having a parent like that, it's because usually they don't want to bother anyone or inconvenience anyone, and you have to be the one to say, like, go to the doctor, we're going to the doctor, we're not going to do this, and take control. So yeah, that being said, the parents shouldn't be letting the kids run around. You shouldn't be flying. So again, everyone sucks. You just learned your lesson, and next time you need to save up or use that emergency fund. One more. I'm kind of excited about this one. I love mother-in-law, monster-in-law, Karen type stories. So we're getting into one. Am I the a-hole for resetting boundaries with my soon-to-be mother-in-law? I send a mass group text to everyone in my fiance's family regarding an issue we've been experiencing a lot recently. We've told everyone since the beginning that our daughter is not allowed to be left alone at anyone's home without us present. The text I sent out reads as follows. Hello everyone, I would just like to address a reoccurring issue as of recent. I would like to remind everyone that no one has been given the option to watch daughter at any house, event, or in any environment other than the comfort of her home. This has been something that we have made everyone aware of, but we somehow continue to run into this issue. So just so everyone is on the same page, daughter is not staying at anyone's home without us present unless we say otherwise. Daughter is not going to any event without us present unless we say otherwise. We ask that you respect our choices as her parents and not question or pressure us to reconsider a firm boundary we have set for our daughter. I'm sending this with as much love and compassion as possible. Please respect our wishes. Have a great weekend. Okay, I think that could be a little bit firm, but if you've said it before and the point's not getting across, I can understand this. For context, a comment was made away from me that we should allow my daughter, who is 18 months old, to stay the night at their home. When my fiance said no, she replied with, well, she's going to ask to stay the night one day, and you'll just have to get over that. Okay, that's one day, though. She's 18 months old. I feel like age does have a difference, and yeah, we'll get into that. I'll give all my opinions at the end. This obviously struck a nerve with me. I honestly expected nothing short of confirmation, but instead I received a text from my mother-in-law, we'll call her Karen, explaining that she has had enough with me. Keep in mind, this is the first time I've ever come out and said anything to anyone about anything regarding my daughter. She claimed in this text that everyone feels the need to, quote-unquote, walk on eggshells around me because of my, quote-unquote, rules and boundaries, and that I've kept her from having any type of relationship with her granddaughter. I've allowed, quote-unquote, Karen to come and go as she pleases. She continued her rant about how I took my daughter to stay at my friend's home with me when my fiance and I got into it over a personal matter, and how that wasn't okay if she couldn't be trusted alone with her. Well, you were there, so that makes a difference, but continuing. Karen has recently remarried to a man who was just released from prison after 20 years. They've been together for over a year, whilst I've been around for 5. No, I do not trust leaving my daughter around him. Now, do we think that people can change who have been in prison? Absolutely. I want to get that clear. I have friends and family who are married to or friends with or, all the things. I don't think that people in prison are necessarily bad people, but I understand it is your infant and we don't know what the charge was either. So I think that the issue isn't that he's been in prison. I think the issue is that you don't know him that well. If they've been dating for a year, I don't think that I would leave my daughter with anyone that my family member has only been dating for a year. I don't know. Continuing. She also does not have the best track record with her son, my fiance, for reasons I will not disclose due to the fact that I haven't talked to him about making this post on here. There's so much more to this story and more on what we said, but I mainly want to know if what I sent could have been portrayed in any way that I was keeping them away from my daughter. No. That was never my intention. I'm just tired of the snide remarks about his family watching our daughter without us present. Also, I would like to add that when we addressed my parents with this issue over a year ago, they agreed and have not argued with us once over this. That's how it should be. They also don't get along with his family, so they were not included in the mass text. If need be, I can include screenshots of her message in my response. So here's my thought. You are the parent, full stop. You should be able to make the rules regarding your daughter. The end. As long as they are not putting your daughter in danger or some sort of thing to be concerned about, no one has any say in how you raise your kids except for you. And I think that if you allowed everyone to have a say, there would be too many cooks in the kitchen and things would be chaotic. I am always under the impression or belief that, you as the parent has the final say, and your rules are the rules that go. If you don't want something to happen, like your kid to spend the night at somebody's house when they're 18 months old, which I agree, like, as long as, like, I feel like there's just no reason, unless you're going out of town or something, for your daughter to spend the night, unless you have that type of relationship. Like, I'm really, really close with my mom, so I could see maybe if I had an 18-month-old letting her stay the night, but my mom also has, like, she's been a preschool teacher for like 30 years, so she has experience. But anyway, like, if you had a close relationship, I could totally see that being the case, but you don't. You don't have a close relationship. You don't really know her boyfriend. You made it a rule across the board. It's not like you're showing favoritism with your parents. Like, I don't think that there's an issue here. I think that she's just being, you know, stomping her feet and having a tantrum because the rule that you set is not a rule she likes. So yeah, I don't think you're the a-hole. I think she's the a-hole. That is all, guys. If you liked this, definitely leave a like, a comment, all the things on whatever platform if you're able to. Definitely leave a rating and review if you're able to. 0.2 seconds, like I said, guys, and I am trying so hard to grow the podcast. I have so much fun stuff coming. Next week's podcast episode is so exciting. I have an important announcement coming, so definitely stick around and check out that one when it comes. I upload every single Sunday, but that is pretty much it. I love you guys so much, and I'll see you later. Bye, guys.